Hey, good Thursday morning to you. It is August 18th. This is around 10 a.m., your tropical update. Thanks for joining me. I'm meteorologist Peyton Malone. The tropics are still fairly tame for this part of hurricane season, but we are tracking or at least watching a couple of things. Let's start with a broad view of what's going on across the Atlantic. There are tropical waves still rolling off the continent of Africa here. Fortunately, it's still hostile out here. There's been dry air. There's been also just not a good environment, so they haven't done anything. There's recent tropical wave rolling off will be one we watch long term in the next week and a half or so, but for now things are okay way on out there. Now, one closer to home that we're keeping an eye on in the near term, this tropical wave is now moved inland overnight, sitting over the country of Belize overnight, brought them showers and storms throughout the entire night. So it is a robust wave here that has been producing persistent showers and storms. Now, fortunately, it's moving over land, so of course not really going to do much today. But what it's going to do, head northwest here, and then eventually get into the southwestern Gulf of Mexico as we go into tomorrow. That would be Friday. Now, what will be interesting is to see what does this tropical wave look like on the other side once it gets past the land here. If it's still pretty robust and has a lot of showers and storms with it, it may have a better chance of trying to organize some on Friday and into Saturday. So by Friday, the wave is going to be right in here. By Saturday, lifting to the north slowly right in here. And then by Sunday, approaching somewhere in South Texas, the lower Texas coast here. And depending on how organized it is coming off the Mexico coast there, will likely determine how much it can organize once it gets in the Gulf of Mexico. Now, the waters are plenty warm. That's a given in the Gulf this time of year. It's August. That's not shocking. What we'll be watching is to see how much can it organize as it gets in the warm waters and interacts with some wind shear. Now, when you look at the upper air environment, it's not in the perfect environment. When you kind of diagnose it off the bat here, here's what you've got going on. There's an upper level low about right here in the Gulf of Mexico, so that's giving you a bit of a southwesterly shear. Your disturbance right now is centered somewhere in here. So right now it's got a little bit of shear, and as it moves to the northwest here, it's still going to have some of that shear from that upper level low. Now, the shear is not going to be huge over the next 48 hours once it gets in the Gulf. So that's why it may have that chance to organize some if there is already a robust tropical wave. If it comes off and there's really nothing there, well, then it's got to make up for that lost time there, and it may not organize much at all. So that's the big question right now is, what does it look like once it actually gets into the Gulf? Now, by Sunday, put this in motion here. Notice what shear starts to do. Really starts to increase in the northern Gulf as we go into Sunday, Monday, and by that point, the wave would likely already be moving inland somewhere in South Texas with some moisture. So just something to watch as we go through the next couple of days. It does have a chance to become a depression. If the wave comes off the coast of Mexico there and is actually a really robust wave like it has been overnight, it may organize a bit faster, and while it doesn't seem very likely, a tropical storm, it is possible. This part of the Gulf of Mexico is notorious for quick spinning up very quickly systems if all the conditions and all things go well for it. So we'll be watching it for you. Notice either way, whether this thing becomes a depression or not, it is going to send some moisture up to the north. That moisture is going to make its way up towards Texas by Saturday and Sunday. And then as we go into Sunday, notice also some of that moisture trying to get thrown up into the Louisiana area. You can see those colors of purple mixed in there. Either way, I don't think this is really going to change the forecast for Louisiana much, but for Texas, the Mexico coast right in here, could see some enhanced rainfall through the weekend and early next week, which we know Texas needs this rainfall. And you could see that rainfall could be quite beneficial for Texas into next week. That coupled with a little cool front coming on down. So overall, I think that's something Texas is looking forward to. Once again, it's not a guarantee this thing organizes, but it is a possibility. It becomes a depression. In the off chance it organizes quickly, it could become Danielle. We'll be following it closely, and of course just check in daily as we go through Friday and into the upcoming weekend, especially if you've got plans to be in the lower Texas coast down towards Brownsville and South Padre. But the rest of the basin looking quiet for now. We take it day by day, and that will likely change at some point in the next couple of weeks. But for now, that's going to do it for our Thursday morning 10 a.m. update. Thank you so much for joining me.